Hello, my name is Dylan Peary. I am one of the two Algebra 1I teachers here at Munster High School. I coach football and also girls track, and here's a quick rundown of how Algebra 1I will work with me. First, we'll start about how your student's grade will be calculated. Okay, so Algebra 1 is going to be a 2 semester long course. I'm going to have them hopefully for the entire year unless they get changed at semester. But everyone in this class will see me twice a day, okay? They're gonna have two different grades in Power School, and the first grade is called Algebra 1I. And here is how that grade is calculated, okay? Their final grade for the semester is going to ultimately goes on their transcript, and here is how the semester grade is calculated. It is 45% how well they do in quarter one, plus 45% how well they do in quarter two, plus 10% the final exam. Okay. What you'll notice is that 10% for a final exam actually isn't all that much. The most the final could do is probably move you up like a third of a letter grade up or down in one direction or the other. If your student wants to do well in my class, they kind of got to do their work in these first 18 weeks here in quarter one and quarter two. Okay. Within those quarter one and quarter two grades, there's basically only two different types of things I could give them. I could give them assignments and I could give them assessments. In the gradebook, when you see assignments, I want you to just think like homework, okay? Typically, it'll be book assignments, but that also could encompass assignments in ALEX or even chapter reviews or quiz reviews. That's only 30% of the grade. And the additional 70% is assessments. Whenever you see assessments in the gradebook, that typically means quizzes and tests. Okay, you'll notice that this is a much larger number than the assignments category. If your student wants to do well, they kind of have to do well on our tests. Okay, so that's the first grade. Algebra 1I is mostly the algebra content, okay? But this is an assisted class, so the second time I see them is called Algebra 1 Lab, okay? That is going to have its own separate grade in the grade book, okay? The final grade they're going to receive in Algebra 1 Lab is calculated like this. It's 50% how well they do in quarter one plus 50% how they do in quarter two, okay? The final does not impact how they do in their lab grade. Okay, and within those quarter grades, there's basically two different types of things I could give them. It's assignments and it's classroom participation. Okay, so here's what this means. Okay, your students should know at this point or should be familiar with something called ALEX topic goals. Starting like next week or so, I'm going to start giving them 5 topics per week. Okay, what the topics are it's basically ALEX is smart enough to figure out where your student is at in terms of what they know mathematically. And ALEX, the software, is going to give them appropriate topics based on where their knowledge is at right now. And they'll complete 5 topics per week. These topics should not take more than, 10 or 15 minutes per week. And if they complete them, they'll get full credit for the assignments category, okay? And the second part of their grade is classroom participation. This is mostly what I'm just seeing in class. Are they trying? Are they staying on task? Are they being respectful? And are they actually trying to get better at math? Lab is meant to serve as a time and place for them to get their assignments completed. Okay, here's what I believe. If they're taking advantage of their time in lab, they really shouldn't ever have any homework to do at home. Okay, I'm pretty reasonable with the amount of homework I give, and I'm pretty lenient about deadlines and things like that. If they're taking advantage of their time, they shouldn't really have to have much homework at all. Okay. Something unique about my class is I'm going to implement this strategy called the modern classroom. Here are like the key components of the modern classroom. There's going to be very little live lecture. Okay, I'm not going to be on the board talking at your kid for 45 minutes. Basically, the way this class will work is I'm going to post short videos of the lessons on Blackboard. It'll be a YouTube video, kind of like the one you're watching right now, based on the topic they're going over. The students will move along at their own pace, watch the videos based on whether they feel like they mastered it or not. They can move slower on certain topics if they need more time, or they could breeze through it if they feel like a topic is super, super easy. The modern classroom entails a lot of work and collaboration with their classmates. They should be chatting with their partners every day and making sure that they're collaborating and ultimately working together to learn the content. This allows for more one-on-one time with the teacher. Okay, after they watch those videos, if they have questions or need help with the homework or the mastery check, they're able to easily talk to me and get those questions answered more quickly. Okay. One thing you'll notice is that if you are up to date with your student's Blackboard, I'll start labeling things as one of these three classifications. Must do assignments, should do assignments, and then aspire to do assignments. Okay, must do means exactly what it sounds like. You kind of got to do this if you really have interest in passing the class. Should do means, okay, you definitely should do this if you want to get a C or a B or an A. You definitely need to do this assignment. But if you're killing it and everything's coming super easy and you want to start preparing for geometry and algebra 2, these aspire to do content could be really, really useful for you. Okay, so the stuff I give them is going to have different classifications. Like I said, most of the homework I'm giving in this class is going to be book assignments. And here is the big thing that you need to know. Okay, anytime I give a book assignment, the official due date for any homework in this class is going to be the end of the quarter. Okay, so there is no such thing as like late work or partial credit in my class. As long as you get your book assignment turned in by the end of the quarter, they'll receive full credit for it. Okay, and for quarter one, that date is October 13th. Okay, so with that, I'm going to be really picky about the formatting and the organization, how your student turns it in. I need them to have this proper heading, and they need to grade it themselves. I've talked about this with them already, but I guess here are the key takeaways from this. Okay, obviously, even if I'm giving you until the end of the quarter to complete the book assignment, should you wait that long? No, obviously not. Okay, doing the homework is the best way to prepare for those exams, which ultimately determines how well you do in the course. But what I'll also do is I'm going to enter grades into PowerSchool at the recommended pace for completing the assignments. Okay, so let's say I give an assignment tomorrow. What you can expect is that within the next 3 or 4 days, that assignment will be uploaded to PowerSchool. And if I did not receive that assignment from your student, it'll show up as a 0 in PowerSchool. Now, obviously, that 0 isn't permanent until that end of the quarter date. And as soon as they turn it in, that 0 will go away and they'll get credit for it. Okay? So what's the big thing to know? Zeros are not permanent for homework until the end of the quarter. For materials for class, it's kind of like the basic math stuff that you'd expect: pencil, highlighter, some sort of colored ink for grading and graphing. But I guess like the two more unique things are, I'd really highly encourage you guys to buy like some sort of binder for your students to keep their notes organized. I will always print the note sheets for them. They print them out, and the best way to keep them organized is to 3-hole punch it and throw it in a binder. I think that's probably the best way to do it. And then one unique thing is I really highly encourage your students to have headphones. As I alluded to earlier, your students will be watching the videos during class to get the content, to watch me explain the mathematical concepts. If they have headphones, it's easier to listen, and I don't have to worry about multiple people using their speakers and it being loud and distracting in here. So encourage your students to have headphones with them. They can be cheap if you don't want to buy AirPods or anything, but AirPods also work on the school laptops. Here's my contact information. The best way to get through to me is school email. If you want to schedule a phone call, just send me an email. I'll be more than happy to chat with you on the phone. If your student's looking for extra practice, these are some of the key things that I talk about: complete Alex topicals, and then these are 2 YouTube resources that I really like: Khan Academy and Patrick JMT. Just type in the topic that we're going over into YouTube, and there's going to be dozens and dozens of videos that come up that are usually all really good. And then always contact time, okay? Have your students sign up through Blackboard to see me on either Tuesday or Thursday, and I'll be more than happy to meet with them. That's pretty much all I got. Thanks.